Hello, good evening. My name is Richard. This is Over and Over and Over Again. This is the Arsenal Women's Show. It's all coming up the other side of this. So good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are in the world. It is 8 o'clock. We're a bit later this week, and there's reasons for that, which we'll get into very, very shortly. I just really wanted to start the show with a bit of an apology, really. I mean, I know I'm a man. I've never played women's football, so I've got no authority to speak about women's football, but I'm going to anyway, just because why not? But anyway, the reason why we're a bit late starting today is Andreas has been flying to London because, of course, he is going to the game on Sunday against Chelsea. So now his flight was due in at 7 o'clock. He was due to be at his hotel for just before 8. He was going to come on the show straight away. But as you would expect, there's been delays on the flight. Now, he is on the way. He has landed at Heathrow. He's just making his way to the hotel. So he's going to be with us. He's just going to be a little bit later than we anticipated. So we'll get started anyway. And for those, of course, who may not have been watching the show last couple of weeks ago, Amar is in India. So he's not here either tonight, unfortunately. But he's sent some videos in. So we're going to obviously catch up with his thoughts. He actually flies back from India on Sunday, just in time for the game. So he's obviously had a great time over there. But he can't be with us tonight, of course, because he's in India. So we'll let him off, won't we, tonight? I know, sometimes, he's late and this, that and the other. But tonight we'll let him off because he's a few thousand miles away. And he can't make it. I think it's 4 a.m. in the morning or something where he is as well. So we'll let him off, won't we, this week? And obviously Andreas has had a few problems with the delays to his flight, but he will be with us as soon as he can. So Greg's in the chat already. How you doing, my friend? He says, looking forward to Sunday's game. Hopefully go top. Well, to go top, we would need to win by about 8-9 goals, I think, with a goal difference. But we can certainly go level on points with them. And I think that's something that we have to try and do. We will talk about, obviously, the Chelsea game tonight. It's one of the big things of the season, isn't it? Big game of the season. So we're going to look forward to that. Terry says, evening, Richard, Greg, and all in the chat. Yeah, and yourself, mate. Hope you're well. I say, we've got a couple of excuses in tonight so far, but Andreas will be with us very, very shortly. But there's only really one place we want to start. We have to go back a couple of weeks, of course, because there was international break. We didn't have a show last Friday because we showed the England game. So we need to go back a couple of weeks. And obviously there was a game against West Ham. Now, of course, it turned out to be a fairly comfortable victory in the end, didn't it? We got the job done nice and early for a change. We've been the team for the late goals, the late drama this season. But against West Ham, we got the job done early, didn't we? It was 3-0 at half-time and it was game over. Yes, those games can be quite frustrating, can't they, when the second half, the game's won. And what do you do in the second half? Do you try and go for more goals and risk maybe letting them back into the game, or do you just manage the game well? And to be fair, I thought in the second half we managed it well. We got the job done and a second clean sheet in a row in the WSL, which is important after the number of goals we conceded in the first few games. So we're heading in the right direction there. Of course, the highlight of the day, the highlight of the weekend, that particular weekend was, of course, Beth not only back in the starting lineup again, but actually scoring her first goal, her first 2 goals, as it turned out, because she got 2 in that game, didn't she? The first one in particular was a fantastic strike, wasn't it? Cutting in onto that left foot, curling into the top corner. And of course, the third goal was a nice, simple finish, wasn't it, from inside the 6-yard box? But it was great. It's great to have her back. And you can see that. And I think, when you've been out for a year, it's never easy, is it? And it's always going to take time to come back to the sort of level that you was playing at before. And I think with Beth, it's took her a while, hasn't it? She's been a bit in and out of the team, obviously. She's getting minutes here and there, and she was getting her way back in. And you can see that when she played, sometimes she wasn't quite as sharp as we'd been used to her before. And I thought that was obviously going to happen. And we had to be patient with her. We have been. She started the last couple of games, and now she's got herself on the score sheet. And I think that we're starting to see now the Beth Mead from before. And I think we all had a slight concern how strong she's going to be when she comes back. Is she going to be able to hit those heights again? Because let's be honest, before her injury, she was the best player in the world. I mean, I don't think there's any question about that. She was robbed of the Ballon d'Or, and she was in that type of form, wasn't she, for the last year and a half before her injury, where she was almost unplayable. Everything she touched was golden, and when you're in that sort of form, you don't want it to end. And unfortunately, she got that injury, and I was a little bit worried that she may come back and not quite be able to hit those same heights. I'm not saying she has yet. It's very early days, of course it is, but the signs from that West Ham game in particular, and of course the Lionesses, which we'll come on to a bit later as well, tend to suggest to me that actually she is going to get back to that level again, and she can maybe, reach those heights in her career again that she showed before her injuries. And that was such a positive thing. And of course, it was a very emotional moment for her, wasn't it? With her mum and all that kind of stuff. And it was great to see the reaction of her teammates as well when she scored that her first goal in particular. And it's great to have Beth back, isn't it? And we know that Viv's not far away either now. She's been playing minutes here and there. She's obviously played for Holland a little bit as well. So, we can see the difference already that Beth Mead's made in the team when she's come back in. You can see it already, can't you? The quality that she's got in terms of, she very rarely wastes a ball, does she? It's either a great cross, it's a nice pass to keep possession, or she's getting on the end of stuff, having shots at goal. So we've missed her. There's no question about that. England missed her in the World Cup. We've missed her. And the fact that she's now back, and I'll say getting back towards that top form is fantastic news, especially as we're coming into such an important part of the season now as well. So yeah, that was the highlight of the game. It wasn't a fantastic game, let's be honest. It did have some good goals, obviously. Frida Marnham's goal as well. She just got voted WSL Footballer of the Year, I think it was, award that she's just got, which is great news for her. A great year that she had. I didn't think she started this season particularly well, actually, Frida Marnham. She seemed to be, on the back of the World Cup as well, where she didn't look herself, and that carried into the start of the season. I thought she was quite poor in the first 4 or 5 games. She got left out of the starting lineup, but it's good to see her back amongst the goals in what she got now, 4 in 5 games. And she's really starting to hit that form that we saw from last season. And I thought her goal was brilliant as well, wasn't it? And it's like Beth thought, well, if you can do it, I can do better, kind of thing. And it was good, wasn't it, for her as well? I say she's in great form at the minute. And I say that was the highlight, was those goals. And of course, the third goal, it was a mistake. Of course, Lisa Evans forgot she was playing for West Ham. Thought she was back at Arsenal, didn't she, with that pass to Alessia? Brilliant work from her. And I say Beth is where Beth needs to be, getting on the end of those things. And she tucked it away lovely. And that gave us the cushion of the 3-0 lead at halftime. I say we just saw the game out, and that's fine. We're not always going to go in the second half and score 4, 5, 6 goals, are we? We don't need to. We need to get the 3 points. Yes, goal difference can be important, and I said at the start, our goal difference on Chelsea is we're 9 goals behind them or something, aren't we? So we could have done with a few more goals against West Ham, but the most important thing is getting those 3 points. Keep getting the points, win all our games, and we'll win the league. Whether we win them all 1-0. So. Yeah, let's just enjoy the fact that it was a more comfortable game. We've been saying on the show, haven't we, a few weeks, it'd be nice to have a comfortable win for a change because of all the late drama we've had, going behind and having to come back and all these late goals. It was nice to actually have a game where we played well in the first half, got a good lead, and in the second half we could sit back, get the cigars out and just enjoy 45 minutes of comfortable football. And sometimes that's nice, isn't it? But rather than having all the drama, it's nice for the drama sometimes as well, but it is often quite nice just to be able to relax and enjoy the game. And that's what happened in that West Ham game, and it was great. Of course it was. Greg saying evening to Terry there. Terry says, Mido, what a girl. She makes her goals, Joe, slotted straight back in and didn't bottle out of any challenges. No, exactly. I mean, it's always a worry, isn't it, when the players come back from a serious injury, how they're going to be mentally when it comes to the physical side of the game. And not that it was a physical challenge that she got injured on. It wasn't, was it? It was just a bad, awkward landing, and that can happen anytime. So maybe that's the difference there. I don't know. But yeah, she doesn't seem to let it have affected her at all. She's back doing what she was doing before. She just needs to get more minutes and get stronger and fitter, and she's going to be fantastic. Greg says she's getting better every time she plays. Yeah, absolutely she is, 100%. And you could see that in that West Ham game. You can see that, she's gradually getting herself back in the team, starting games, and now she's got that massive boost of those 2 goals. And I'm sure we're going to see a lot more of that coming from Beth Mead over the next few weeks and months. Now, of course, I say Andreas is on his way. Amar can't with, but Amar did send us his thoughts on the West Ham game.
Yeah, so looking back on the West Ham game, it was comfortable and ultimately 3 goals, 3 different scorers, 3 points. Marnham definitely meant it, whatever you say. Great to see Beth back amongst the goals, doing what she does best. Fantastic vintage left foot into the top corner. And the third one's all about Leslie Russo. Lisa Evans inadvertently gives the ball away, overall creating hunger and desire, and the link up with Bess is going to be fantastic for us. and ultimately it was a tap-in, and we were able to dominate West Ham like I've done so many the times in the past. Not much in the second half to speak of, but 3 points, another clean sheet, 5 halves of football now without conceding, onwards and upwards, 6 wins in a row, and any doubts about where this team was going under Lionesses and maybe whether he signed a contract too early could probably be put to bed for now. But yeah, we're playing really well. It's good to see. There's a great buzz and vibe about the club right now, and yeah, let's see how we do now. No injuries during the international break. Onwards and upwards to the big one against the best team in the land.
Yeah, so that's Amar's thoughts there on the West Ham game. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. It was the second half was a bit of a non-event, but you don't mind when you're 3-0 up there. We'll take that all day long. And yeah, I mean, he said 3 different scorers there, but obviously it was 2 different scorers. But anyway, 2 goals for Beth, of course. But yeah, but absolutely, yeah. I mean, that's what we want to see. We are in great form. We have recovered from that slow start because it was. I think there were lots of different reasons as to why we started the season so poorly, of course, with the European exit and, you know, that opening day defeat to Liverpool. And there were reasons behind that. We know that, you know, the players come back from the World Cup. We hadn't had much training. We had new players to try and bed into the team, and we hadn't had the time to really adjust to it all. And yes, it sounds like excuses, and I suppose it is excuses, but that was the situation. And it took us 2 or 3 weeks, didn't it, into the season to really get going. And you can see now this team now looks like the team that we anticipated the team would be. You know, when we saw the signings, when we saw the players that we'd brought in, when we saw knowing that who was coming back from injuries and stuff like that. I think we expected to see this Arsenal team that we're seeing now. This is what we expected at the start of the season. But I say due to circumstances, that wasn't the way it turned out. But it doesn't matter now. We can't go back and change what's happened before. We can't go back and change those results, well, one result in particular. We just have to keep going now, keep winning the games, and hopefully we'll end up where we need to be. But we are now starting to see, aren't we, that the Arsenal team that we really, really expected to see this season. And it's looking really exciting now, isn't it? And it's all coming together at a good time, isn't it? You know, with this big game coming up at the weekend, which we're going to look at as well. Now, Andreas, being as organised as Andreas is, anticipating he might be late for the show, he did actually send us his thoughts on the West Ham game as well, just in case he was late and wasn't here to be able to discuss it live. So this is Andreas' thoughts on the game against West Ham.
So here are my thoughts for the West Ham match. I was at Meadow Park and it was a fantastic match. It was one of our better performances, I think, and it was a solid win. Yeah, I mean, with 3 early goals, with 3-0 up at halftime, you can't expect that the girls are running and fighting for every inch in second half. We managed the match, and it was a solid win. Of course, West Ham had 2 good chances when they hit the post, so both situations could have changed the match, and we were lucky in this. But I'm sure if West Ham would have scored with one of these 2 situations, we would have been able to change the match again and to win it. So let's look at the team and who was the player of the match. I think we had a lot of players who were really, really good and outstanding. So who could be player of the match? Lotta? Yeah, well, another decent performance from her. Very, very solid in defense and always starting the build-up with her long and opening passes. And once again, she has grown this season, and it's really impressive how she developed, how she stepped up this season. And I think she would really deserve a start at the Lionesses, at least to come as a sub for the Lionesses. She plays a very good season and was a good match from her. Yeah, Kyra, I can only say what a performance again. She's bossing the midfield. It's so impressive, and she's always forward oriented. There are no unnecessary back passes from her. She's regaining the ball, she's keeping ball possession, and then you always see she has an idea what she wants to do, where she wants to pass. She sees spaces for the other players, and it's just fantastic to see her. Who also had a good match, Vic? Vikbalova, of course, she's really impressing, her fighting spirit and her work rate, the way she gets into duels, into tackles, and yeah, she's just a fantastic player. So Leslie, yeah, another outstanding performance, I have to say. And I read about her. Alessia is a workhorse. Workhorse, yes, she is. I think we all loved her for the way she played for the Lionesses. We appreciated, we had to say she was a very important player for United last season. But seeing her live, seeing what she does for the team, it's so impressive. She's more than a number 9. The way she works for the team, that's just fantastic. She protects the ball, her ideas, her passes, her work rate, yeah, absolutely fantastic. And her assist for Beth's second goal, I think this assist says everything about Alessia, what she does, how she plays, how unselfish she is, and fantastic match from her again. And then, of course, Mido. She was player of the match from the supporters club, and of course, well deserved. 2 goals. The first one was pure Mido at her best, like we know her. So great to see, and so great to see how much it mentioned for her. Her gesture to the sky when she made this gesture and this one. And she posted afterwards, this one's for you, Mum. And a lot of players also posted in social media that goal was for her mum. And fantastic to be in the stadium to see her score again after 428 days. And it's just fantastic. Yeah, Mido, fully deserved player of the match, and it's great to have her back.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, fantastic. Yeah, I mean, I would say she was player of the match in that game. There was just a lot of good performances, as you mentioned there. I mean, Vicky Palova's in fantastic form at the moment, isn't she? She's looking absolutely brilliant. And of course, Kyra, Cooney, Cross, those two in midfield are really, really playing well, aren't they? And the energy that they've given a team, and they've given us a whole new dynamic in midfield, haven't they? And it's been brilliant. And hopefully they can continue to develop and progress. Wayne's in the chat here, my friend. He says, we need to win. I've been getting into mouthy Chelsea fans who seem to take issue with the fact our squad is the second most valuable squad after Barcelona and the most valuable in England. I mean, I agree with you 100%, but I think the value of the squad is very difficult, isn't it? Who comes up with that? How do we know what the value of a player is? How much they're worth? How much the team's going to pay for them? For me, and we don't really know, do we? You know, for example, Alessia Russo, we got her on a free transfer. What's she actually worth? Who knows? She's not up for sale, so it's quite difficult to say, isn't it? Potentially, we have got a very valuable squad. There's no doubt about that. Greg says the girls look hungry again. Well, I don't think again. I mean, I don't think they lost their hunger. I just think we had a few issues at the start of the season with coming out of the World Cup and no proper pre-season, all that kind of stuff. And I think that now we're into the rhythm and we're into the groove, aren't we? And I think that's to be expected after the games that we've had and stuff like that. Dan's in with us. How you doing, Dad? He says, Wayne, think what would be like if we can poach the Man United goalkeeper? Well, after the England game the other night, I'm not too sure if that's going to improve us, particularly, but we'll let her have one mistake. Terry says, evening, Wayne and Dan. Chelsea are worried. Watch them come out of all the excuses under the sun on Sunday. We'll get onto the Chelsea game very shortly. Dan said, I expect it will be sold out this weekend. I think we break another record. Yeah, I think with the terms of the tickets sold, I think as long as everyone comes up, we would have beaten the WSL record attendance. So yeah, it's going to be another record-breaking evening or afternoon. And talking about record-breaking, look who we've got with us. Andreas is here in London. How are you doing? Good to see you.
Hi, good evening, everybody. Yeah, I'm glad to be in the show now. Was a bit difficult because my flight was delayed, and then had to go for the Heathrow Express and the tube. Yeah, finally in my hotel, feeling at home, and
Your usual hotel, is it the one in Tower Hill?
Yeah, this one again. Yes. So.
Fantastic. Fantastic. That's what we like to see. I mean, it's good that you've had a good journey and you arrived safely. That's the main thing. It's good to see you. We just obviously spoke about the West Ham games. I'll put your video on already, so we've had that. We've gone through all the kind of stuff. So that was good. And Amar sent a video on the West Ham game, which we've gone through as well, which is great. We've got Ryan in front of Mr. Arsenal podcast says, evening all, hope you're doing well. Almost to sell out on Sunday. Yeah, I think it is. Last I heard it was maybe 58,000, which is great.
58. Yeah.
And I'm sure we can get them last 2,000 sold before Sunday. I'm sure we will. And I mean, it's incredible, really, when you think about it. I mean, Jonas said, didn't he? I mean, we're going to come on to the Chelsea game in a minute, but Jonas did say in his press conference today, you probably didn't hear it, Andreas, obviously being flying, but he said that, his first game was against Chelsea at the Emirates. There was less than 10,000. And now, 2 years later, there's going to be nearly 60,000. It just shows, doesn't it, how quickly the game's growing in this country. It's brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just fantastic. And I remember last season, he said it's not about having a big attendance once a season. So for one big game, it's about consistency and have a big audience in more games and also in matches which are not against the top teams. And this season, we are proving this is possible. We had 54,000 against Liverpool, 35 against Villa. Of course, Chelsea is the match of the season. But we will have an average of 35,000 at the end of the season, and that's just fantastic. We are the leading team in the WSL according to this development, and not only in the WSL, even in Germany. When I'm in the German talk, I always mention look at this. At the figures at the Emirates, what Arsenal does, and we nearly have a sellout against Chelsea. And the German fans, they say, what, 50,000, 60,000? It's impossible. We are glad to have 15 or 20,000. That's fantastic to have 20,000 for Frankfurt versus Wolfsburg, or Bayern versus Frankfurt was 15,000. Frankfurt had Champions League against Barcelona, 16,000, and they were proud of this. And I said, if we Arsenal would have 16,000, we would say, what have we done wrong? It's only 16,000. So this is a fantastic development. But of course, it's not only the attendance; it's also the team development. And I think in these more than 2 seasons, Jonas is in charge now. The team has developed, the way they play, and the connection between the team and the fans has grown. So it's not only one thing. You have to add all these things together.
Absolutely, yeah, and you're right. I mean, it's easy to get sort of carried away a little bit with the attendance figures that Arsenal have been pulling in, and it is fantastic. I mean, to have that many people wanting to come and watch. I mean, the 60,000 at the Wolfsburg game last season was fantastic, and to do that in the WSL, no one would have thought that possible a year or 2 years ago, would they? Not anywhere near that. So it is incredible. But you're right; it's not necessarily about people turning up for 1 or 2 games a season. What it's about is how the game's developing, and that's absolutely important. And you can see, I mean, the crowds everywhere in the WSL are up anyway. Everywhere they're all up. Every ground. You know, we had a sellout when we played Brighton the other week away. Their highest ever attendance that they have. Yes, it involves Arsenal because we're taking a lot of away fans as well, and we're boosting the crowds as well. But the fact is, people are coming out to watch the WSL, not just the Arsenal games. Just we're getting the biggest crowds. Of course we are. We're the best team. We've got the biggest fan base. We've got the best support. Everything else. We know that. You know, but the people are coming out to watch the WSL in greater numbers now. Anyway, everywhere, and it is great, and it is growing, and it's going to continue to grow, and it's going to be. It is going to get to a point again. It was something that was mentioned to Jonas today in his press conference about, how soon will it be that all the Arsenal games, women's games, are played at the Emirates, and it only seems like it's not going to be that long when you look at it. But again, there's other things to consider in terms of how many games can the Emirates stage in a season, the pitch, and all this kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, the growth has been amazing, and obviously we're at that. We're the ones that's driving it. Arsenal are driving it, aren't we? We're the ones that's got the crowd. I mean, as Ryan says here, imagine Arsenal break the WSL record 3 times in a row. Yeah, we keep beating our own record, don't we? We're not going to be able to beat it much. If it's a sellout on Sunday, we can't beat the sellout. We can only get a sellout again. We're not going to be able to beat it, are we? But yeah, it's incredible when you think. You said it in under a year. It has been, yeah. Those 3 big attendance. I think it was Tottenham was the first one, wasn't it? That was 40, whatever it was. Liverpool was 50 odd thousand, and now Chelsea's going to be hopefully 60,000. Just absolutely amazing. It is amazing. And, you know, it isn't just one-off game, is it? It's not a one-off game now. We're doing it 3-4 times. In the last year, we've had what? This will be the fourth over 45,000 in a year. Incredible. Which is brilliant to see. We've got Morvis in the chat. He says, hi guys, could you guys run me through the games and where we are at the moment? Last game I watched was against Leicester. Thank you for all you do. No, thank you for tuning in. Since Leicester, we've won in the WSL. We beat Brighton and West Ham. So we've won 6 in a row now in the league, with 3 points behind Chelsea. They keep winning. They've only dropped 2 points all season, but obviously we're playing them Sunday, so that's going to prove how big that game is. But yeah, no, we're tucking along nicely now. We're getting our form together. We're looking really, really good. And we've won, say, 6 in a row in the league, 8 in a row in all competitions, if you throw in a Continental Cup as well. So we're in great form, and it's brilliant to see. The Leicester game was probably the best. The second half of that Leicester game was the best performance of the season, probably. But that seems to have things have seemed to have clicked together since then, and we've pushed on and getting better and better with every game. So let's hope more of the same on Sunday. Terry says Chelsea will bring all their 3,000 fans if they're lucky. Yeah, I mean, if they haven't even got 3,000 fans, Terry, they won't even bring 3,000, will they? They'll probably have like 1,200 stuck in the corner somewhere. He said all their fans that they've got will come, and there'll only be 1,200 of them. No one's going to hear them. No one will really care. And Gunnar Dan says an argument for women's fair pay. I mean, what we've got to remember is, and I think it's easy to get carried away, until there's the money generated in women's football, we can't pay the players equally to the men, because the men's game generates a lot more money in terms of sponsorship, in terms of TV money, all this kind of stuff. There's so many aspects involved, and we can't expect to pay the women's players at that level when the money's not there yet. It will be. Give it time. Now we've got new TV deals. Of course, there's that new deal moving away from the FA, isn't there, for the Women's Super League, and which is coming next year. And it's going to be interesting to see how that works in terms of the money involved. And of course, once more money comes into the game, the players can get paid more money. And I'm sure everybody would have no problem with that. And that's obviously what's going to happen. It will happen, but we can't rush it. We can't do it now, because the money's not there, and we don't want to bankrupt everybody. We don't want, Arsenal to suddenly find all this extra money to pay Alessia Russo the same as Gabriel Jesus is getting, and then the club runs out of money because it's not sustainable. Yes, we're getting 60,000 fans or 50,000 fans at the Emirates, maybe 4 or 5, 6 times a season. That's not enough to maintain that. The sponsorship coming in at the minute is not enough. The TV deal, as good as it is, isn't enough yet for that. It will happen. It will happen. Absolutely will happen. It might take 3, 4, 5 years until we get to that point. Bearing in mind, at the start, when the Premier League started, it took a few years, didn't it, for for all the foreign players to start coming over for the money and the real money to be made. The players that played before the Premier League and then played into the Premier League era, they saw the big difference in how much money they would get. And it's going to be the same in the WSL for the women, isn't it? There's going to be this changeover. It's going to take a while, and it will happen. It's just not going to happen today or tomorrow or this season or next season. It's going to take a little while, but it will happen. And some of the players playing now aren't going to necessarily benefit from that, particularly because they would have retired by then, and that's unfortunate. But you'll have the younger players coming through that will. And it's the same that happened, in the men's game 20, 30 years ago. And it's going to be the same. It's just going to take that little bit of time. So let's not rush it. It will happen, and it definitely will happen. But it's just the women's game, as much as it's progressed. You've got to think how quick this has been. Like Jonas said, a year and a half or 2 years ago, whenever it was, that Chelsea game, less than 10,000. Now it's 60,000 there enough. And that's in 2 years. And that's been really quick. The rise has been really quick, but everything else has got to catch up. The money's still not there in the game, at women's game yet. It's not there at that level that it needs to be to put in things like fair, like equal pay. You can't do that yet. The money's not there. And we don't want to. Yeah, no, go on.
It's not about fair equal pay. We said this very often. It's about equal play. They need the same conditions as the men's teams, and this is developing. I read that Arsenal has this season 18 persons that are only for the women's team, managing staff, a cook, physio, medical team, everyone. 18 persons. this has developed too. And I read an interview with Leah Walti in, I think, in a Swiss paper, when she said when she went to Arsenal, and compares it with the situation now, it's totally different. She's so happy to be a part of this development. Also, she won't benefit from everything because she's 30, I think, 30, 31. So she has 2-3 more years, but the whole process, she won't benefit from everything, but she's glad to be a part of this, and yeah, to make way for the younger generation. And this is what it needs. It needs time, but now we have the role models to bring on this process. And yeah, the young girls who now start playing in the youth teams, they have female role models. Just look back 20 years, when players like Leslie or Lotte came through the academy, and their role models were from the men's team.
Mm.
Yeah, and this also changes. It needs time, and yeah, you can't rush it. But yeah, I'm happy and proud to be a part of this development too, with our show. And yeah, when I think back, my first season ticket was so easy to get a season ticket for Arsenal.
Yeah.
And I went to Meadow Park. There were 800-900 attendance, and now if you want a season ticket, you have to go on a waiting list, and they say 2-3 years at least until you have a chance to get a season ticket. And Meadow Park is sold out every match. It's a fantastic development.
It is, and it is incredible. I mean, you know, and for you know, people like yourselves and me and others that were going to games more than 2 or 3 years ago, you can see the difference in the number of people that want to go. And you're right about a season ticket. You could get a season ticket easily. You could turn up for the games. You could just pay on a day at Meadow Park. You could wander around the whole stadium. You know, you had it almost to yourself sometimes, some of the games. And now you need to buy tickets weeks in advance, or you don't get one because they sell out. And it's good in that sense that it's happened. It makes it more difficult to get to games sometimes because it's more tricky to get tickets for. And obviously the games at the Emirates are better because it means everybody's got access to be able to get a ticket should they want one, and that's great. Wayne says there, I was at a Tottenham game at the Emirates last year. It was a really good day. Yeah, we was at that game. Yeah. That was a brilliant day, wasn't it? You know, obviously Arsenal won 4-0 as well, which helped. But yeah, that was a big crowd, really good atmosphere, great game as well. And that's what women's football is now, isn't it? Terry says there, Greg says the Arsenal women are getting bigger crowds than half the Premier League teams. Yes, they are. And someone said that if obviously with the ticket sold for Sunday, I think it's going to be the third highest attendance of the weekend in the whole of English football, not just women's football, in like the men's football as well. The third highest attendance of the weekend. And Man United are at home, bearing in mind, so they're going to get the top one, no doubt. I don't know who the second will be. I'm not sure who else is at home at the weekend, but yeah, the third highest attendance of the weekend. That is incredible. But what you got to remember is the game's at the Emirates, and for example, I mean, I don't know at what how much of a crowd, say, for example, some of the smaller Premier League teams could draw in if they had a bigger stadium. You know, say, for example, Luton, they sell out their stadium every week. They've got, I don't know, 12, 11,000, whatever their ground holds. If they were to play in a 40,000 stadium, could they fill a 40,000 stadium? Maybe. Now they're in the Premier League, potentially they might be able to. So I do think that saying Arsenal women are getting we're getting a bigger crowd this week because we're playing at the Emirates. If we were playing at Meadow Park, we'd have 4,000, 3,000, wouldn't we? So you've got to bear in mind the stadium that they played in. But Arsenal women have got a big pull, and we probably could generate bigger crowds than Luton's men's team. I'm sure we probably can. We are from London after all. At the end of the day, it's a bigger catchment area, and we're a club known all over the world. No one's even heard of Luton outside of Luton, so you know maybe that wasn't the best example. But you know we're a bigger name. You know, Arsenal women are a bigger name in football than Luton are, as even for having a men's team. So you know I do think that makes a difference. But yeah. You're absolutely right. We are going to be drawing bigger crowds than a lot of the Premier League teams. This weekend is a typical example of that. You say only 2 other teams are going to have a bigger crowd than we are. That is mad when you think about it. But you know that's the beauty of the fact we can play at the Emirates, and we've got so many fans who want to come out and support the team and support women's football. And it is brilliant. It really is brilliant. Terry says, sorry, got to say, very disappointed in Andreas's background. And he's in his hotel, and he can't have, he's not going to have everybody around his house like he did the other week. So it's the way it is. Terry says, to be honest, the girls play better football than 2/3 of the Premier League. Well, I agree. I think they do. Although having said that, I mean, with the Amazon Prime this week, I've been watching a lot of the games, and to be honest, there's been a lot of great games in the Premier League this week, actually, to be fair. But I do agree. I think overall, the WSL is more enjoyable to watch. I wouldn't say it's better football. I think it's more enjoyable to watch, and I think that's the crucial thing, isn't it? I think it is probably better football in the Premier League in terms of a technical level and the speed and all that kind of stuff. And I think we have to accept that. It doesn't mean that the WSL isn't more enjoyable to watch. I personally think it is. I enjoy watching women's football more than I enjoy watching the Premier League. If it's not Arsenal playing, if it's Arsenal playing and Arsenal women playing, it's the same enjoyment for me. But looking at it in general, I prefer watching. I'm more likely to watch a WSL game that's on the telly than a Premier League game that's on the telly because I enjoy watching it more. I'm not saying it's better football. I just enjoy it more, and I think that's the way it is, really. Greg says, yeah, that's very true, Terry. Yeah, it's a fair point. I wouldn't say it's necessarily better football, but Wayne says, I'm hoping for Arsenal win Saturday. Sunday. We all are, mate. That's what we're all hoping for. That'd be a fantastic weekend, wouldn't it? Actually, Dan says, watch it, Terry. You want to sell off Andreas in the January window? No, we can't sell Andreas off in the January window. No. He's not for sale, so no, he's not going anywhere. Obviously, before we get on to the Chelsea game, which we will do shortly, I do want to look back briefly at. Obviously, it's been quite a tough week for the Lionesses. I mean, it was quite a strange game against Scotland actually the other night because winning 6-0 away at Scotland is a fantastic result, and normally you'd be celebrating that as though you've achieved something special. But in the end, of course, those 2 late goals from Holland meant we're out of the Olympics. Now, I know some people aren't particularly fussed about the Olympics, and I know that it's not, but I think you've got to look at it from the players' perspective. They are disappointed because the Olympics is a big tournament for women's football. We might not look at it and think, it's nowhere near as good as the World Cup or the Euros and stuff like that. And maybe it's not in the same level, but for the players themselves, and some of them, you could see Lucy Bronze, for example, she's not going to be available for the next Olympics, probably. A lot of the other players won't because of their age. And it's like, this might have been their last chance of playing the Olympics. So you could feel that disappointment. I felt disappointed for them. Absolutely. And it doesn't matter. I'm not really bothered, particularly for me. Yeah, you could say the players are going to get a rest. Well, they won't. The England players will, but the players from other countries won't. They'll still be playing in the Olympics. So England might as well qualify, or Team GB might as well have qualified for the difference it's going to make. So I felt sorry. I felt really bad for the players, actually, because they gave everything on Tuesday. They gave everything in the Holland game last week as well. And it's unfortunate it came down to just 1 goal, isn't it? Out of a whole group. And I must admit, we spoke about this at the start saying, we're adding more games in having this Nations League. But actually, I think the Nations League has been really good because you're going to have international breaks anyway. Why not have competitive matches against good teams? I think it's been great. And okay, you could say the Scotland game wasn't competitive in that sense. Although I thought it didn't look like a 6-0. We were ruthless with our chances and we could have scored a few more. But I think overall that group's been really competitive. And it's good to have those type of games. I think you benefit more from playing competitive games against good teams and playing friendlies against Macedonia or somebody that you win 25-0. You gain more from these type. And I'd actually rather they've been off the friendlies and have more games like this, have more little tournaments like this. And I think the players benefit more and they're better to watch. I mean, I don't know what you make of that, Andreas, because we're going to have the games anyway. They're going to play friendlies anyway. They might as well have something like this, mightn't they?
Yeah, you're right. But look at the Olympics now. The European champions, the runners-up of the World Cup, and the 3rd place team from the World Cup are not going to the Olympics. So there's something wrong in this qualifying system. I think, there will be teams at the Olympics that are much weaker than Sweden or England. And as I said, these both teams would have deserved to be automatically qualified. Being runners-up in the World Cup, then you should be qualified for the Olympics. There's something wrong. But for the Nations League, we were unlucky with the drawing to have Netherlands in our group. This was a really strong group. As you see, Netherlands, England, 2 top teams, both would win other groups. And I also follow, of course, the group with the German team. Germany won their group. Their most difficult opponent was Denmark. you can't compare Denmark with the Netherlands. So we had a really tough drawing, and we didn't lose the Olympic qualification against Scotland or against Netherlands. We lost it in Belgium. You can't lose against Belgium. This is not a top team, and this was not the best performance from the Lionesses there. I think we conceded a very late goal, if I remember correctly, in Belgium.
We were winning as well, wasn't we, at one point in that game?
Yeah, but this couldn't have. We lost the qualification against Belgium. The match against Netherlands in the first half, I said it was an Arsenal performance. First half, sloppy defending, making mistakes and conceding 2 goals, and then this brilliant comeback in the second half. Yeah, it was a deserved win, the 3-2. We could have won 4-2. There were chances enough. Yeah. And against Scotland, yeah, we could have scored 7 or 8 goals. And when Lucy Bronze made the 6th goal in stoppage time, I thought, okay, this is it. Now we have it. It was 2-0 at this time for Netherlands, and everybody thought, well, they need 2 goals now, and it's over the 90th minute stoppage time. They won't score twice. They did, but that's football, and yeah, I'm happy for Viv. And for Vic, especially for Viv, I saw an interview with her with the Dutch TV, and she was crying. She was so happy. She said she's happy for the team. They worked hard, and she said, I worked very hard for this. And yeah, she had tears in her eyes. And so for her, we are all happy, I think. And for our players, of course, as you said. They wanted to go to the Olympics. It's a special tournament. You can't compare the Olympics for the women with the Olympics football tournament for the men. It's a youth tournament for the men, but for women there are the top teams, the top players at the Olympics. So it's really special. Of course they are sad, and for us, we can say a lot of our players, maybe 17, 18 players, will get a summer holiday and pre-season now, because they don't go to the Olympics. It's only the Australians, Canadians, maybe Lia for Spain. But the others will have a free summer. So I think in summer they will enjoy it, and they will say, okay, it's good to have a holiday and to have a pre-season. But of course, they wanted to go there, and I'm sad that they didn't qualify. But the performance against Scotland, was great, and 6 goals. You have to make 6 goals. Lauren James was outstanding. I think Lucy Bronze was very good. Yeah, but we lost the qualification because we were missing Fran Kirby and Beth Mead, and with having these 2 back, the whole balance in the team changed. You can see there's somebody called it the Meadow effect. Beth Mead brings so much for the team, and Van Kirby too. And having missed these 2 players, that's one of the reasons why in the end one goal was missing. Pity.
Yeah, it was. One of the things that I actually kind of enjoyed on Tuesday, when obviously the Lionesses were playing and the Holland game was going on at the same time, and it was quite exciting to be checking on the Holland squad to see what the score was, and obviously watching the England game, and the fact that games being played at the same time, and that very rarely happens now, does it? Because they separate the games for TV, and no one's playing at the same time, or the important games aren't going ahead together anymore. And I enjoyed that fact on Tuesday, that you were having to look at the other score and keep updated with it, and it made it more exciting. And they've taken that away, haven't they, in the Premier League and in the WSL as well, because the big games aren't played alongside each other, are they? They're played separately, so they can put them both on the telly at the same time, at different times. And it takes away a little bit of the excitement for me, because it used to be like that in the old days, didn't it? You'd be listening on your radio to find out what the score was of all the other games, and it was a bit of a throwback to that on Tuesday, and I kind of enjoyed that. In the end, of course, didn't go the way we wanted it to go, but it was exciting nonetheless. And I kind of think that I'd like to go back to that a bit more in football. And instead of having all the games split up over a weekend to show them on telly, have them all played at the same time. It's more exciting, and it's makes it more interesting as well. I think it adds something
We-
extra to it. So I kind of enjoyed that, even though it didn't work out the way we wanted it to in the end.
We should have
Terry,
taken a tactical timeout. Mary Earps should have taken this tactical timeout, like Berger for Chelsea always does. And so our match was finished, and Netherlands were still playing. They knew they had to score twice, and we couldn't react to this. So this was you can call it a fair play mistake from our team.
That's a point, actually. I didn't thought about it. I mean, I suppose we could have delayed our game and got it to last a bit longer. Yeah, maybe we'd have known then we needed one more goal. If Holland had fit, well, see, Holland might have been settled for 3-0 if they thought, oh, that's enough. England are only 5-0 up. We'd known we needed 2 more goals, and we maybe could have tried. I don't know. We got the 6th goal very late, so I don't know if we would have done anyway. But anyway, Terry says, what do you think Lotta Wilbenmoy's got to do to get a game for England? I don't know, honestly. I don't know anymore. When Jess Carter got taken out against Holland at half time, and obviously Esme Morgan coming, and to be fair, Esme Morgan played well. I thought she played well in that second half against Holland. She played well against Scotland. I've got no, I don't rate her particularly that well, but I thought she had 2 decent performances. You can't criticise her, but I was almost disappointed for Lotta because with Millie Bright not fit, obviously Leah Williamson's out, we know that, and this would have been an opportunity for Lotta to at least get some minutes to get a chance to play. What's Esme Morgan done for Manchester City to deserve a place more than Lotta does in her performances for Arsenal? I don't get it, me. I don't, and I'm not going to question Serena too much because of what a great job she's done. But sometimes I look at things like that and I'm thinking, yes, we don't see what Esme Morgan's doing in training for England. We don't see that. Maybe she fits in better to what Serena wants. I don't know. She's got a little bit more pace about her. Maybe I don't know if that's the reason, but I'm not sure. But I agree to. I don't know what more Lotta can't do anymore. She's playing the best football of her career. She has been for quite some time. And for her not to, she's in the squad, but for her not to even get on the pitch ever for England, when there's injury problems in defence, there's players missing in defence. This is the opportunity. I mean, I don't think she can't do anymore. Let's be honest, she can't do anymore. I mean, Andreas, it must be frustrating for her. I know she's probably happy to be involved in the squad, but surely she must be frustrated. She knows how well she's playing, surely.
Yeah, she was player of the match, I think, against Man City when she kept Bunny Shaw quiet.
2 games in a row, she was.
2 games in a row. Yeah, she's I think nominated for Player of the Month for Arsenal, and Serena was in the stadium when Lotta was Player of the Match. I don't understand her, and I don't think you can criticize Serena for many things because normally what she does, what she decides, works. But this is a point I don't understand. Esme Morgan. No, she didn't perform better in the league than Lotta does. And if Serena last season said you have to play, have to constantly start matches and play and perform, now Lotta does it. She starts every match. She performs in every match. She's so solid in the back. She's her passes, her opening passes, the way she starts the build up, it's just great to see her development, and she would have deserved minutes, but I don't know what's wrong. And as you said, it must be frustrating for her, but we know that it means a lot for her to be in the squad, and I'm sure she does everything she can in training. But what will be when Millie Bright and Leah Williamson are back? Then she's number 24 in the pecking order from Serena.
It does seem like it. It does seem like it. But we see her every week, and we know how good she's been playing. But I think there's obviously more to it than that. Serena's got her ideas, and certain players fit in with certain managers' ideas better than others, maybe. And that might be something as simple as that. And there's nothing more Lotta can do. She's playing as well as she can possibly play, and she's still not getting a chance. So will she ever do? We don't know, but I mean, it's a shame, but she's doing everything. As long as she plays well for Arsenal, I don't really mind too much. I'm happy with that. And if she gets picked for England, it's a bonus for her. Obviously, she'll love that, and it's a bonus for everyone. But she just has to keep doing what she's doing for Arsenal, and it'd be great. And I'm sure she'll get the rewards that she deserves eventually. She's got to, because there's no other way. Greg says there, where's it gone? He says, I can't understand two good strikers on the bench and play a left winger through the centre. Yeah, none of that made a lot of sense when you look at it. But we won both games and we scored 9 goals. So it's not like you can turn around and say it didn't work. In those 2 games, it worked because we got the results. Alessia Russo came off the bench, in both the games and made an impact. And I don't know, we won both games and scored a lot of goals. So I was shocked at the lineup when they came out, especially the second one against Scotland when we needed goals. We're not playing out of centre forward and we need goals. But anyway, we won 6-0. So we can't say it didn't work. And that's the frustrating thing, isn't it? Because I agree with you. I didn't understand it, but it worked. We got the 2 results that we needed. Just didn't quite get enough goal. And as Andreas rightly said, it wasn't those 2 games. It was the game before that against Belgium where we lost it. Not those 2 games most recently. I mean, we beat Holland 3-2, a fantastic result at Wembley. 6-0 away at Scotland. They're 2 great results, 2 great performances overall. And we couldn't have done any more. It was before that. So not picking the centre forward in those 2 games didn't make a difference anyway, because we won them comfortably. But it was more when we did play a centre forward in the games against Belgium and Holland away that we lost. Maybe that's what Serena was thinking. Maybe she thought, try something different, try a different way of playing, and it worked. So you've got to maybe give her credit for it in the end, because she got the results. And I think that's that's the only way you can really look at it. You can't. It's unfortunate, isn't it? That we're only fans. We don't see what goes on behind the scenes. We don't make those decisions. And when they work, even if we're baffled by them, you have to hold your hands up and say, fair play. You got it right. It worked. Yes, we didn't qualify, but in those 2 particular games, we did the best we could have done. We couldn't have expected any more than those 2 results in those 2 games, could we? Whatever team selection was picked, we wouldn't have done any better. So, fair play, Serena. You kind of surprised us all, but you kind of got it right again. So we're not going to question you, because we can't, can we? Now, just before we move on, Amar did give us some thoughts on the England Lionesses as well. So we'll quickly play that for you. It's all the way from India.
Yeah, hello again.
And finally, as far as the Nations League is concerned, what a tough way to go out. Couldn't have really given much more, did what they had to do. Great comeback against the Dutch to win them from 2-0 down. As we know, the most unsafe scoreline in football, and then absolutely wiping the floor with Scotland. Great to see Beth scoring and playing again, Alessia getting some game time as well. All our players coming back and doing their bit for their nations without getting injured. Yeah, it was the results earlier in that campaign, but they couldn't really have given more, in my opinion. And we're proud of them. It's a shame that we're playing at the Olympics, but at least they get some much needed rest now, because the schedule is so demanding. And I look at how many injuries we're seeing, and finally there's some research going into ACL injuries in women's football. About time, as far as we're concerned. But it's still been a great year for Lionesses. World Cup final to back up the Euros. Narrowly missing our Nations League qualification. They're still a team to force to be reckoned with. And under Serena, only going to go onwards and upwards.
Yeah, obviously, it has been a good year for the Lionesses. Like you said, the World Cup final. And yes, it's disappointing that we didn't make it through. But, I'd rather be, from a fan's perspective, I'd rather be at the Euros and at the World Cup than at the Olympics, given a choice. But having got to that point, we wanted to get there, and I know the girls did. And that's the most important thing. They'll be disappointed, but yeah, it's not the end of the world, is it? Really, it's disappointing, and I'm sure they'll get over it and move forward and be stronger for it. So. Obviously, now there's only one thing we can talk about. It is a massive game on Sunday. It's the reason why Andreas is in London hotel room. It is, of course, the biggest game of the season, probably the biggest game for quite a long time when you look at this situation. Now, these are, of course, the most eagerly anticipated games of the season, aren't they? Arsenal versus Chelsea. We have been the 2 best. I know we finished 3rd a couple of times in the league and stuff when they've won it, but I think we've been the 2 best teams in the country over the last few seasons. Chelsea obviously have come out on top more often than not. As we know, they've won the league title 4 seasons in a row. They've won FA Cups and they've beaten us in big games along the way. But I think that this season is a slightly different narrative, isn't it? What with Emma Hayes leaving at the end of the season, first of all. So it's her last season. And I think now we can see the shift in terms of the fact that Arsenal have got such a strong, I think it's the strongest squad we've ever had as a club. I really do, for the women. I think it's the strongest group of players that we've ever had in terms of depth. I'm not saying the first team's the strongest team we've ever had, but certainly in terms of the depth of the squad, I think it is. And I think even Emma Hayes admitted herself that today in her press conference. You know, she knows the quality that Arsenal now have. And I feel as though, while Chelsea have had things go their way over a number of years now, I do think that things are starting to shift. You know, we talk about the crowds. Obviously, we've got a far bigger fan base than Chelsea will ever have. And that's not up for debate. And now I can see that on the pitch now, we've put in a squad together, a group of players together that can overturn this dominance of Chelsea. And I think with Emma Hayes leaving, it's going to be the end of an era anyway for Chelsea and possibly for the WSL and the start of a new era. And I think we are now at a place where we're ready to take on that, you know, take over from Emma's Chelsea, if you like, and go forward from there and take it over. And I think we're in a great position to do that. But if we want to do it this season, then I think the game on Sunday is vital. It's vital that we can't lose. Certainly, we can't afford to lose that game. I think 6 points. Yes, we're not even halfway through the season, but I think 6 points against this Chelsea team that don't lose very often would be too much. So we can't even consider losing the game. We can't. We have to get a result. A draw wouldn't be a disaster. Not fantastic, but it will do. Obviously, a win puts us level on points with them, and I think that would be so important then. And I think you could see then the momentum that we could get from that could be really, really important. Bearing in mind they've got the Champions League to focus on as well. And I do think Emma wants to win that before she goes. I really think their focus is 99% on that. So I think this is our big opportunity on Sunday to say to Chelsea, look, we're going to take over from you now. I've got a picture behind me when we beat them in the cup final last season. And that was significant as well to show that we could beat them in a big game because we hadn't done it enough. And I think on Sunday now we've got a real opportunity, the form that we're in coming into this game, to finally say to Emma Hayes, you know, yes, your reign's coming to an end, but we're actually going to end it early for you. You know, we're here now and we're going to take it on. I mean, we can't afford to lose on Sunday, can we? And I actually don't think we will. I'm really confident that we can get a positive result. Even a draw wouldn't be bad, but I really think we can do it on Sunday. How are you feeling, Andreas, ahead of this game? Because it's such a big game, isn't it? I think it's the biggest game for a few years, actually, in the whole context of it all.
Difficult to say. I mean, 2 seasons ago, we were so close to win the title. It was just 1 point difference, and we have beaten Chelsea at home. We had to draw there, so we are always close with Chelsea. We have beaten them last season in the Conti Cup final. It's difficult to say. Emma Hayes would say Arsenal is motivated because they haven't won a lot. In the last years, okay, Chelsea 4 times in a row, but it's a match of 2 teams. They are equally strong, and I don't see any difference. Chelsea not better than we are, but we aren't better than Chelsea. Chelsea is more clinical, more ruthless. They are. I don't think that they have had a lot of good games in this season. Most of the time they were playing, just enough to win, and somehow they managed to score enough goals to win. They conceded 2 goals in some matches, but they scored 3 or 4. So then this away match at City, when they were lucky with the referee, when two City players got the red card. But it's not only luck. The best teams. It's sometimes you can say the best teams they get the luck they deserve, and we have to accept that Chelsea always manages to win when it's necessary. So it will be a very, very tough game, and I don't think we will lose, but I don't think we'll win. So I expect a draw with goals. I think too early for the prediction. Okay, it will be a fantastic match, and if I think on the lineup, we have a fantastic squad. Our squad depth is just great, but Chelsea, even if they miss Millie Bright, they have such fantastic players. I'm sure that Sam Kerr will be back. Okay, Gora Wrighton is out with injury, but they still have Lauren James, Jesse Fleming, Erin Cuthbert, Frank Kirby. So it's difficult, and we have to keep Sam Kerr quiet. We have to take care of Lauren James, who played fantastic against Scotland. She can score from everywhere, and even if we don't like her, I think she had some matches for the Lionesses at the World Cup where I didn't like how she performed or how she acted, but she's such a talented player, Lauren James. I think she's 21. And another, Fran Kirby. I really like her. I often said she's wearing the wrong shirt. She shouldn't wear blue, but I really like her. And the same for Erin Cuthbert. If I had to choose one or two players from Chelsea for Arsenal, these two, I would name these two, Fran Kirby and Erin Cuthbert, because they're bringing so much for the team, more than a Sam Kerr. Of course, Sam Kerr scores a lot of goals, but she has 10 chances a match, and then she scores 2 or 3. It's difficult against Chelsea, and if we get a draw, then it's okay for the situation, because it's still 3 points difference. But for Chelsea, it's a big chance, and they know this. They know if they win at the Emirates, they are 6 points clear of the table, and it's early in the season, but 6 points is a lot, because they already played against City, then Arsenal. This would be a huge gap, and we can't afford to lose. But we are at home, and we have a massive crowd behind us, and Emirates feels more and more home for the girls. So I'm optimistic that they will have a really good match and a better performance than against Liverpool or Villa, because the team fits together much better now. And we have Beth back. Maybe we will have a few minutes for Viv and a contribution to a match, even if she only plays 15 minutes. We saw for the Netherlands how important she can be. So it's no reason to be afraid of Chelsea, but it won't be easy to beat them. I'm expecting a draw, and it depends on how the match develops. If we are 2-0 up, I won't be happy with the draw, but normally I think I would accept the draw as a good result. But anyway, we're all looking forward to this match. And today I got a WhatsApp message from a friend in Austria, in Vienna. She's coming over to London for this match because she's a massive fan of Manu Zinsberger. And of course, she said, I want to see Manu live, but this match I had to come to London. So just fantastic.
Well, there you go. You see, I mean, we're attracting fans from all over the world, aren't we? And I think that sums up where Arsenal women are at this moment in time. And I mean, you're absolutely right. I mean, Chelsea are a difficult team to beat. Of course they are. That's why they win so many trophies. And when they have to get a result, usually they do. Yes, he did beat them in Lionesses' first game, but, the first game of the season isn't quite as important as a game later on in the season, is it? So,
yes.
Last season at the Emirates, we were so close. We should have won that game and conceded that really poor goal at the last minute, didn't we, to make it 1-1. And to beat Chelsea, you do need to be 2 goals up, really, don't you, going into the last 5 minutes to give yourself any chance, because they're always like that. I mean, it happened at Man City, didn't it? Man City had 9 players. They were 1-0 up. In the end, Chelsea force a goal, and they do that. They do it all the time, and that is the sign of a team of winners. That's how you win trophies. And we've got to somehow find a way to overcome that, haven't we? We've got to find a way to beat them, and we've got the quality. There's absolutely no question about that. We have got the players to be able to beat Chelsea. There's absolutely. I don't doubt that for 1 minute. What I do doubt is it's the other side of the game, isn't it? It's not just about how good your players are. It's about that mental side of it, and it's about that side of it that Chelsea are so strong in, and they've been so strong in for such a long time, that we've got to match that. Yes, we did it in the Continental Cup final, and in a sense, this is like a cup final. It's a one-off game, like that was, and we have to go and win it and look at it like that rather than look at. I think it's maybe when you look at it in the context of the title race and the season, it's different if you looked at it as it's a cup final. We just have to go out there and win that game. And if we play it in that way, I think we've got a great chance to win. But if we're playing it more like it's a league game, then I think a draw, it comes into your mind a little bit more, doesn't it? It sort of does. You know, a draw is not a disaster, and it isn't a disaster. Yeah. And I agree with you. Draws, I always feel differently about draws depending on if you're winning the game and you draw, you feel disappointed, you've thrown points away. If you're behind and you come back and get a draw, maybe you're excited that we've gained a point that we didn't think we'd get. So I think it does make a difference. But yeah, a draw wouldn't be a disaster. But let's see. Terry says I'm going 5-2. Well, okay, so we kind of expected that you might. Terry says times are changing. That's why Salty's going to America. I think that's one of the reasons. I think it's more about the contract and the money situation thing. But yeah, obviously she can see that things are changing. You can't keep winning trophies. It only lasts for so long, and eventually it's like Man City in the Premier League. You're probably finding that this season. You can only win for so long, and eventually you're going to have a drop off. And maybe she sees that coming and she's getting out before it happens. But let's hope. I say we're the team ready to jump in, and let's do it on Sunday. Greg says we'll do them 3-1. I hope you're right. That would be fantastic. Granite Dan's gone 1-0. See, a 1-0 Arsenal win would be great, but isn't the last 5 minutes going to be absolutely murder? Because they'll be robbing everything out, won't they? If it's 1-0, it'll be terrible. It'd be stressful. But if we held on for 1-0, that would be great, wouldn't it? Morpheus has gone 3-2 to Arsenal. Well, that would be a great score, wouldn't it? Like we beat them 3-2, of course, last time that we beat them at the Emirates, it was 3-2, wasn't it? So why not?
Yeah.
That would be great. It'd be a great game as well, wouldn't it? But yeah, I mean, it is going to be tough. We know it's going to be tough. But I say, for me, at this moment in time, with the group of players that we've got, with the way we've been playing, the way it's all kind of coming together, like you said, Beth's back almost to her best. Viv is coming back. Yeah, she's not going to be at her best yet, but she can contribute. We know what quality she's got. She hasn't got to be on the pitch long. Give her the ball. She can create a goal, score a goal. She can do something amazing. So, you know, that's a bonus for us as well. And I just think that maybe it's come at a good time for us. Millie Bright's out. She's so important for Chelsea at the back. She really is. And maybe this game's come at a good time for us. Maybe it has. We won't know until Sunday. But I get the feeling going into it, it could be a good time for us to be playing them with the way things are in terms of our squad, in their squad, and all this kind of stuff. Let's see. But yeah, we won't know probably until Sunday, will we? Terry says, we have far too much for them. I know it. Jonas knows it. And if truth be told, you know it as well. Well, I know we've got the quality in our team and our squad to beat them, but it's not just about that, is it? In these games, it is a mental thing as well. I do think sometimes we've shown Chelsea too much respect in games. We've almost played a little bit of fear. I'm not saying that we've done that so much in the last couple of seasons, but I've noticed it sometimes. We don't seem to have the belief always that we can beat them. We seem to go out with that slightly feeling that, we're not sure if we can beat them or not. And if we go in with an attitude, you're never going to beat them. You've got to play Chelsea, and you've got to be arrogant almost and say, we are going to beat you. We are good enough. We've got the quality to do enough. If we go in believing we can do it, we can do it. It's just if we've got any doubts, there's any doubts at all, Chelsea will make the most of that, because that's what they've done against us and against other teams before. They do it time and time again. So we can't have any doubt at all. There can't be not even 1% of doubt. Every single player has got to believe 100% that we can beat them on Sunday. And if we go in like that, I think we can beat them. And I think if that's the attitude that we've got, I think we will beat them, because I think we've got better players than them individually. We've got better players than them, and we've got a little bit of momentum. Yes, they haven't lost a game yet this season either, but I just feel that we've got this momentum with us now, and we've got the squad to do it. But it comes down to 90 minutes of football at the end of the day. That's what it comes down to. Terry says, Jonas will definitely want to put one over old Salty before she goes. Well, of course he will. We all want to, don't we? Morpha says, James is great. We need to be careful defensively. Yeah, she's a danger. There's absolutely no doubt about that. And, you know, we've all said it before. I don't think none of us are particularly keen on her in terms of her personality and her attitude. I don't think. She's not a very likeable player when she's playing, I don't think, outside. But there's no doubt her quality. I thought she was brilliant for England in the last two games. She had her moments in the World Cup where she was brilliant as well. And we know what quality she's got. And yes, we do have to be. It's not just her, is it? Obviously, we know Sam Kerr's going to be a threat. If there's a chance, she's going to jump on it. And she's got a great record against us in previous games, as we know. But yeah, it's an interesting game because it's got pretty much the top level of players in almost in the world, isn't it, coming together in this game? You know, you look through it, there's so many great players on both teams. We have to admit that they've got some great players as well. Not just James and Sam Kerr, they've got a great team as well. So it's a great game to look forward to, isn't it? Knowing that you've got these lots of great players that are coming together, two great managers who understand the game tactically and everything else. And it's got the makings of being a phenomenal game of football. And it's going to be a great advert for women's football in front of a sellout crowd. It will virtually sell out crowd at the Emirates. I mean, it's incredible. What an occasion it is for women's football in this country, you know. And if the game lives up to the expectations, it's going to be something special, isn't it? It is going to be an incredible experience, and let's hope that we can come out on top. Morpher says that no one likes James, great player. Exactly, yeah. She doesn't seem to be a likeable character, unfortunately, but you know, I'm sure she's a lovely girl off the pitch. I'm sure she is. She just doesn't come across very well when she's playing. And Morpher says we need to defend as a team. Yeah, I mean, we've got our defensive act together more so in the last few games, haven't we? We're a bit shaky at the start of the season. We still concede a little bit too many goals from set pieces and crosses, which Chelsea are dangerous at. They'll put balls in our box. You guarantee they will. They'll win set pieces out. They'll put our defence under pressure in that sense. And that's when we're going to have to be strong. We've conceded a lot of goals from crosses against Chelsea. The one last season when Samco scored that header at the end, you know, that's the type of goal we do concede anyway against anybody. Yeah. So it's important that on Sunday we look at that and we work. I'm sure we would have worked on it. And we have been more solid, haven't we, the last few games, which is a positive sign. But let's see. It's such an exciting game to look forward to. Terry says, Carter won't be able to live with Russo or Steen. And no, she probably won't. She was terrible for that in England game against Holland in that first half. Absolutely awful. Terry says LJ Havertz will be taken off by half time. Well, Havertz has been doing quite well as well lately, hasn't he? So let's not worry too much about that. Greg says Walty kept James quiet in the Conti Cup. She did, yeah. And I'm sure we'll have a similar plan in place for this game. I'm sure we will. But let's wait and see. That's if Walty plays. I'm sure she probably play a part, but Vicky and Kyra have been playing so well together. It's almost like you want to break them up. Yes, it's a different type of game against Chelsea, but I don't know. Experience does do a lot. Obviously, Kim Little's fit as well now. She's going to be in contention. It's sort of game where Kim Little's rose to the occasion before as well. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what the team lineup is. We never know with Jonas who he's going to pick anyway, do we, at the best of times? But I think Leah Walty, for that extra little bit of experience, may well come in for Vicky Palova potentially. I don't know. What do you think? It's going to be tough, isn't it? Because she's been playing well. She had a great game for Holland against us as well, didn't she? It's tough, isn't it?
Normally, you can't take Vicky Palova out. No. She's so important and so good. But I'm also convinced that Leah Walty will start. Her experience, her calmness on the ball, and it's needed. Maybe we can have the momentum that Chelsea is missing Millie Bright and Gura Wright. And these are two really important players. We can't forget this. And it's difficult to say which lineup Jonas will choose. I think Beth will start. Maybe she can go about 60 minutes or so. Probably he'll bring the attacking line with Caitlin, Alessia and Beth. So this is what I expect from Jonas. The midfield is difficult to say. I think Wally will start, but then you can't take Kyra or Vic Palova out. They were fantastic, and especially I'm so impressed from Kyra and her performance. This coolness on the ball, and she's always forward oriented. There are no unnecessary back passes or something like that. She's always trying to find a solution and play forward, and she protects the ball. She has so good ideas. She sees she foresees development of the match, and her passes just fantastic. And the way Vicky Palova is fighting in tackles and wins the ball back, it's so important. I don't think that Kim Little will start. She won't be ready for starting a match, but maybe she'll come in the second half if necessary. We often said in the last weeks that Frida Manum is not at her top level, but she improved in the last matches, and she's always good for a fantastic goal, for a banger. When she got the chance, she can score fantastic goals from just outside the box. Will you take her out? It's so difficult to say. It's the quality we have, and Stina, she scored 4 goals in 4 matches, and now we are even not talking about her for the starting lineup. Yeah, we have so much quality, and yeah, but just remember the Conti Cup final. I said after the Conti Cup final, I said we had a match plan, and even if we conceded very early, I think it was the 3rd or 4th minute when Chelsea scored, we followed this match plan. Every player in the team believed this match plan Jonas had given, and they followed it. There was no panic. We are 1-0 down. What can happen if they score again? No, they followed the match plan, what they had said before, and it worked. And that's my hope for Sunday, that Jonas will have tactics that will work, and if they believe in these tactics and just follow it, even if there are mistakes, or if Chelsea creates a chance or scores, just follow the tactics, and the 60,000 in the Emirates, this will do us, this will play for us. I remember the Wolfsburg game. We had so many injuries, and nobody expected us to be competitive against Wolfsburg. But how did we start this match with the crowd backing us? We scored. We were the better team. Why not on Sunday? So I expect a fantastic match. The 2 best teams in England in the WSL going head to head. It can't be better. And yeah.
Exactly. I mean, that's what we want to see, and yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see the lineup. Actually, I mean, don't forget as well as Terry says, Chloe Lacasse as well to come on and share Chelsea apart. I mean, she's playing well as well, isn't she, Chloe Lacasse? So another option in that forward line. It is incredible, really. And yeah, you're right. I mean, Stina's been brilliant this season, and will she start? Will he go with Stina and Russo? I don't think he will against Chelsea. I don't, even though it's the Emirates with a bigger pitch and bigger space, I don't think he will. I think that it's going to probably be Russo, because that's who he's favoured to start more of the games. And then obviously Stina can come on and have a massive impact like she's done so many times. Morpheus says Jonas has to get this right, and the fans will be a great boost for the team. Yeah, exactly, they will.
Yes.
Chelsea, whatever Emma, and she tried to kind of say in her press conference today that, we've played in big games, in big crowds before. The players know what it's like. They've played internationals, this, that, and the other. They've not played in front of 60,000 fans at the Emirates in that atmosphere before. They haven't. Not in the WSL. No. They've not done that before. I don't care what she says. They haven't. And I think that's going to be a massive... our players are used to that now. We've had 4 or 5 massive crowds at the Emirates. They're used to playing in front. Yes, the Liverpool game didn't go particularly well. We lost to Wolfsburg in the end. But apart from the Liverpool performance, when we've had a big crowd in, generally, we've rose to the occasion, haven't we? It's lifted us, and it's given us the boost that we've needed. And obviously, Sunday's going to be important. A crowd are going to be so important in that game. And I don't think Chelsea won't have played in an atmosphere like that. Certainly not in the WSL. In the Champions League, maybe, but not in the WSL they haven't. And it's going to be... That's something they're going to have to deal with. Terry says, Kyra Cooney-Cross looks a tight ready for a battle. She does. She does, yeah. I mean, I think she'll start. I do. I think it might. Yeah, I think you might be right. I think it might be her and Wally, and maybe Palova in Frida Marnham's position, maybe, because I don't know. I think Frida Marnham is in good form at the minute, but she can be a little bit hit and miss in the course of a game. Whereas I think Vicky Palova at the moment, she's got that tenacity, and I think that's needed against Chelsea, because that's what they're like, and we can counter that with Vicky Palova. So I think she might start as well, and that may be what the midfield is. And then, we'll have the front 3. You can pick any 5 or 6 for the front 3, but I think it'll be Caitlin, Alessia, and obviously Beth. I think that's what we'll go with. But let's see. I mean, Jonas will have a plan. I'm sure he will. Greg says Chelsea doesn't like teams playing at speed against them. No, and the one thing that another thing that Emma mentioned in a press conference today was about, she said, Arsenal are the best counter-attacking team at the moment. And I think you could see that she's maybe a little bit worried about our counter-attacking. So I think she's going to sit quite deep to prevent being open to the counter attacks as well. I think she's going to try and counter that. So it could be quite a tactical game, actually. It could be quite interesting. But hopefully Arsenal can come out on top, but we'll have to see. Terry says, to be fair on the Zins, I don't know what she's been having for breakfast, but she's playing really well. Yeah, she's been a lot better. She has been a lot better in the last few games. You know, dealing with crosses better, and just a general all-round play, I think, has been a lot more. I felt a lot more comfortable and calm now with Zinni in goal than maybe previously when she's been a little bit erratic, shall we say, especially with balls into the box. So let's see. Let's hope she can keep that up because we're going to need her on Sunday to play well. Everyone's going to have to play well. All of them. The defence is going to have to play well. A lot to be on her game. Amanda's going to have to step up again. Obviously, if Steph plays at left back, I'm sure she will. We know we can rely on her. Obviously, Katie McCabe playing right back, probably again we can rely on her. So Morpheus says there, Russo direct passes are a big weapon on the break for us. Yeah, hopefully it comes through on Sunday. Yeah, hopefully it will. But you know, the fact that Emma's pointed that out already tends to suggest to me she's going to be ready for that, and she's going to have a plan in place to stop us from countering. You can't stop every counter attack, of course you can't, because it just happens and we're good at it. But yeah, let's see. Hopefully we can make the most of that and we can capitalise. Amar's got some thoughts on the Chelsea game as well, which he sent us again all the way from India. We're all over the world at the minute. It's been great.
Yeah, as for the next game, well, I mean, the games don't really come much better than that. London derby in front of a almost sellout crowd. Last time there was 57,000 tickets sold. I won't be able to go myself. I'll be on my way home and too tired to go from India. But yeah, the good thing is I'll be able to go and watch it well. Two teams bang in form. Will Sam Kerr play, won't she? They've got multiple threats. Other than Lauren James in bang in form, but then so are our players. Look at Vicky Pulova. Beth seems to be playing well now. Russo as well. Everybody seems to be in form. Mazamek is an absolute classic, and well, it's going to be a difficult game to predict. But if anyone's going to really challenge Chelsea for this title this season, it's going to be us or possibly City. But we're bang in form. I think we'll be up for it. Our home record's good. We haven't lost to them in close to 4 years, I think it is now. Yeah, but let's see. But I think they'll be up for it, and I'm actually going to go 2-1 Arsenal. I don't know who will score, but I think we'll have a repeat of what we saw in the League Cup final in February. Come on, you Gunners, bring it on.
Well, Emma's confident anyway. Emma's gone 2-1. We might as well get a score prediction. So we've had a few in the chat where everyone seems confident Arsenal are going to win, which is great. Obviously, you were saying a draw, Andreas. What are you going for then this week?
Yeah, I say it will be a 2-2. But of course, I hope we will score a third. So yeah, I wish 3-2 for us, but yeah, I expect a draw 2-2, and yeah, as I said, I expect goals. Not a 0-0 as we had 1.5 years ago at Kings Meadow. No, I think it's two strong attacking lines for both teams, and yeah, let's see. It's difficult, but if we score 2 goals, then we won't lose. Then it's a draw, and if we are able to score a third, then I'm confident we are winning. Let's see.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's if we score 3 goals, I think we'll definitely win. I don't think Chelsea are going to score 3 or 4, are they? So I would say definitely. But we shall see. Greg says there he should play Stina up front and Russo instead of Marnham. That is an option, of course. Yeah, it is an option.
Yeah.
Is he going to do that against Chelsea? I'm not convinced.
I don't think so.
I think against certain teams, I can see that being a way. I mean, we played it a couple of weeks ago, wasn't it? I can't remember which game it was. Was it Brighton? Was it Brighton? I think it might have been when Stina started. Russo was sort of in behind, and that worked, didn't it? In that game, but that was Brighton. It's not Chelsea. I think there's a difference, and we'll see. But yeah, that is definitely an option. I like that formation. I like Stina playing through the middle because she can run in behind, and I think against Chelsea, that's a real weapon. And obviously Russo can link the play really well as well. So it's, you know, obviously Russo's better than Frida Marnham overall as a player, but Frida does well in that position. But I think you might go Vicky in there just for that extra bit of kind of, you know, that extra sort of muscle, if you like, in midfield. And I think that's what he might go with in this game, because I think that might make more sense. Terry says, Amar looks 10 years younger. It's because he's actually got light on him. You can see him. That's why. You can't normally see him. He's in the dark, isn't he? So you can't normally tell. But Ganadan says it's all that Indian sunshine. Well, it'll be that as well, of course. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure the weather over there has been a little bit better than we've been having here in the freezing cold. Terry says 5-2, even if the ref's a Chelsea fan. Well, 5-2 would be incredible. Have Chelsea ever conceded 5 goals in a game?
I don't think so.
It's been a long time since I've done that, but Wolfers has gone 3-1 on 80 minutes and 3-2 full time. Yeah, I mean, you can see that, can't you? Them getting a late goal back to, if they're losing by a couple. I mean, I did a little video the other day previewing the game, and I said 2-1 to Arsenal. Funny enough, same as what Amar said. So I'm going to stick with that. I'm going to stick 2-1 for Arsenal, but certainly a draw wouldn't be a surprise, and it certainly wouldn't be a disaster. But if we can win this game, I think it sends out a really big message, doesn't it, to Chelsea, to say we're here for you. You know, we're coming for you. And also as well, I think it shows that this team can. You know, we mentioned before, Chelsea win games when they have to win them. And this is a chance for us to show that we can win games when we have to win them as well. And this is a big game for us to win, go level on points. So let's, make up for that Liverpool game, won't it? We've not quite managed to shake that off yet because we've always been trailing Chelsea. We've now got the chance to put that Liverpool game behind us, get the 3 points here, and then repair that damage. And that's what we can do. So I'm going to say we will win 2-1, but it's going to be nervy. It's going to be exciting, and it is going to be a hell of a game, I'm sure. And it's going to be a great experience as well in front of all those, well, hopefully 60,000 fans again at the Emirates. Wow, just mad, absolutely mad. Now, of course, after Chelsea, we do have the small matter in midweek of a little North London derby. In fact, it's the first of 2 North London derbies next week because we play Tottenham on Wednesday in the Continental Cup, and then we play them again next weekend as well in the WSL. But we'll look more at the WSL game next Friday on the show, of course. But we haven't got a show before Wednesday, so we'll just a quick look into that Continental Cup game. Obviously, you'd expect changes to the team for between the Chelsea game and the Tottenham game in the Cup. I would imagine that we've been making 7 or 8 changes, haven't we, in the Continental Cup games in between the league games. We've got a big squad. I expect the same to happen again. So I'm expecting a lot of changes. But even despite that, Tottenham aren't doing particularly well this season, are they? They've got a new manager in, not really gelling for them yet. I'm sure they'll get better as the season goes on because they've got some good players. And in Martha Thomas, of course, they've got the top goal scorer in the league, haven't they? So they've got a goal threat in them. There's no doubt about that. But I don't know. I think that, depending on maybe how Sunday goes, but I think there's going to be a lot of changes to the team. But despite that, the strength of our squad should be still good enough to beat Tottenham at Meadow Park, where we're very difficult to beat at Meadow Park. I think that's all in our favour. So I'll be surprised if we don't win this game. And it's a big game because if we win, it'll put us through the group, won't it? So it's an important game. I mean, what are you expecting, Andreas, for this one? Obviously, a lot of team changes, I would assume.
Yes, a lot of changes, but hopefully not 8 or 9 changes. It's a very important game because if we lose, then it will be difficult to qualify for the knockout stage in Conti Cup. To win the group, we have to win this match or at least draw and win the penalty shootout. But you can't rely on penalties. So we have to win this match. But for Spurs, this match is much more important than for us. It sounds wrong, but Spurs they won't get relegated in the WSL, and they won't win the title or qualify for Champions League. They will have a normal season, but this match is something special for them, and they will concentrate very much on this. It's a derby. It's something special, and it's a chance for them to beat Arsenal and to go through the knockout stage in Conti Cup. So for them, this is not the match of the season, but much more important. On a mental basis. The good thing is it's at Meadow Park. If it would be away at Spurs, first Chelsea, this match of the season, and then away at Spurs, I wouldn't be convinced that we win. But at home, I think we will take this serious because the players and Jonas, they all know that we need a win to go through, and everybody wants to go through in Conti Cup because we have to defend the title, and everybody wants this. We are out in Champions League, so Conti Cup is the this substitute for the Champions League for us, and being out in group stage would be terrible. So I expect us to win, but it won't be an easy win. Terry will say 5 or 6-0. I don't think this will happen. It will be maybe 2-1 or so for us. And it will be difficult and it will be tough, but we have the better squad. I'm sure that if you compare the squads, Arsenal versus Spurs, we are much better. And even if we make 5 or 6 changes, then we must win this. And I'm convinced at home we will win.
Yeah, I am as well. Yeah, I mean, we are the much better team. We know that. And, you know, we've said this before, we've got a Champions League squad. We don't have Champions League, but we do have the Continental Cup. So let's use the squad. Let's rotate. Let's give players minutes. Let's get Viv a little bit longer on the pitch, hopefully against Tottenham, you know, and let's you know, take the game seriously, but making sure that we're giving some of the players who are not playing as much, give them minutes on the pitch. You know, obviously Katarina Kuhl may well get to play again. She played in the last game, and players like that aren't necessarily playing many minutes in the league. So that's what we need to do. Terry says 6-1 in the cup and 4-0 in the league. But I say we'll look at the league next week. Oh, yeah, I mean, you know, Andreas did say you might go 6-0. He said. Greg's gone 5-0 for the cup. Wow, we're expecting some big wins here. You know, I know Tottenham aren't very good. Morford says, Andreas trying to explain Spurs being Spursy. Well, yeah, they are. Terry says, we're winning the Conti Cup, so how can Spurs beat us? Well, that's true. I don't think anyone's supposed to beat us, actually. But I think that, depending on the team lineup may depend on how many we win by, potentially. You know, I still think we've got a strong enough squad. We could almost change all 11 players and still have a team that should be still strong enough to beat Tottenham. I don't think we'll do that, but we could potentially, when you look at the players that we've got on the bench that aren't playing that could come in, we could make 11 changes, actually, and still have a decent team. So I think we'll win against Tottenham in the Cup. What do I think the score will be? I don't know. I'm going to go 4-1. I think we'll win 4-1 on Wednesday. I just think we've got too much quality, and obviously the players that don't start will be on the bench. So if Alessia doesn't start, she'll probably come on. You know, Viv will probably come on. We've got those players on the bench late in the game when Tottenham are tired that we can just bombard them and get a few goals at the end. Maybe. What was your score prediction for that one, Andreas? Did you give one or not?
I said 2-1, but of course, let's be more optimistic, and I say 3-1. Yeah, we win 3-1. Okay.
Yeah. Well, 3-1's fine. We'll take any win. I'm not bothered if we win 1-0 or 10-0. It don't really matter to me. Greg says, doesn't matter home or away to Spurs, they aren't good enough to beat our weakest 11. Exactly, I agree. I totally agree with that. But football is sometimes it's not on paper, is it? We can look at the players individually and think we've got a much better team than them, we should easily win. Doesn't always work. Cup shocks happen. I'm not saying this would necessarily be a big cup shock with 2 WSL teams, but we should win this game. And if we play anywhere near our top level, whatever 11 we've got out on the pitch, we should have enough. And I think we will. We'll have some quality on the bench to come on if needed and finish it off if we need to. So Terry says, I knew Andreas was a 2-1. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you have to have a rethink on the 2-1. But, I mean, let's just win the game first, and then we can worry about scoring loads of goals after we've got the game won. That's what it's about, isn't it? Because it is an important game. We can't afford to get knocked out of the group, of the Continental Cup. We can't afford to do it this season. If we're in Europe, we wouldn't be in the group stage anyway, but it's important without Europe. We've got to get through the group. We've got to get to the knockout section, and hopefully we want to defend the cup and win it again, because it was great, wasn't it? You know, it's nice to win cups, and you can't win too many of them. So let's try and do it. Let's try and do that and keep going. But yeah, I think we'll beat Tottenham. I think we're far too strong for them. And of course, we've got another North London derby to come next weekend. And Emma as well has given us some thoughts on the Spurs game as well, just before we go.
Hi there, me again. Yeah, I don't think Sunday's result against Chelsea will have too much of a bearing. I expect to see a lot of changes for a Conti Cup game. Yeah, we were lucky against Southampton, but I don't expect the same against Spurs. Just coming back off a 7-0 shellacking at the hands of Man City away, and how they recover will be interesting to see. Manchester United at home is a tough game. 3 days later go to Arsenal, and then 3 days later face us again. So it's a brutal schedule for them. And I mean, whilst they have troubled us in the past, I don't see them causing too much trouble for us at Meadow Park. Whatever happens on Sunday, the squad will be motivated to get one of our rivals in a fixture we've dominated, putting 9 goals past them last season whilst just conceding 1 penalty, I believe it was. So yeah, I'm expecting a comfortable home win, maybe 9 or 10 changes, and possibly a sellout crowd, as tends to be the case at Meadow Park for these games. Who knows? But I'm going to say Arsenal 3, Tottenham 0, and hopefully we'll progress through to the knockout stage and top our group in style.
Fantastic. Yeah, well, 3-0 Amal's got. That's good, isn't it? So I think we're all confident that we'll win that game anyway. Yeah. I mean, obviously Sunday is so important that sometimes it's difficult to think beyond that game, really. But, you know, we have got the Conti Cup game to come, and we're not going to have another show before, so we might as well. Wolfers all says there, who has the best first 11 in WSL and who has the better squad? I mean, that's quite interesting, isn't it? I mean, I think at this moment in time, I think Arsenal have got the best squad. The depth that we've got, especially in the attacking area of the pitch. But even now in midfield with Vicky Palova and Kyra Cooney-Cross adding to Leah Walty and Kim Little. Yes, I mean, Chelsea are a great team. Let's not pretend otherwise. As much as we dislike them, we've got to admit they're a great team. They've got a good squad as well. And they've got players that have been there and done it and won the trophies. And they've got that little bit of experience, more experience in that side of it. But I believe, and maybe I'm just biased, I don't know. I think we've got now, at this moment in time, I think we've got the better starting 11 and we've got the better squad. But Chelsea are top of the league. So they would argue that obviously they've got the better squad and the better team because they're sitting top of the league. Whether they'll still be there they'll be top on Sunday probably. We're not going to beat them 8 or 9-0. But, I don't think there's much in it. I think first 11, Chelsea have got a little bit more experience of winning the big games and the big trophies, and that we maybe lack slightly. And obviously, we're still missing Leah Williamson, who's an important player to us. But there's not much in it. But I think we just I think our starting 11 is maybe slightly stronger than theirs. We'll see on Sunday. And I think our squad depth this season now is stronger than Chelsea's. What do you think, Andreas? Who do you think has got the best starting 11 and the better squad? Do you think it's us, or do you think Chelsea or some Man City maybe? Because Man City have got a good squad.
Yeah, the advantage for Man City is they nearly have the same squad than last season. It's only Jill Roth that was added to the squad, and the rest has found together, and they know each other perfectly. So this is their advantage. I think the squad from Chelsea and Arsenal, it's equal in quality. Currently, we have the advantage that they are missing Millie Bright, probably for Sunday. This is massive as for us is Leah Williamson, but Leah is out for half a year now. So for Chelsea, this is a new situation to miss Millie Bright, and I don't see any player in the Chelsea defense or in the Chelsea squad with this quality. If they bring Jess Carter, Kadisha Buchanan, now Anik Noen has done her ACL. She's out too. The defense is not as strong as it was for Chelsea, and their midfield and their attacking line is fantastic. This is equal to us, so it will be small margins that decide the match on Sunday. Everything is possible, but as I said, we don't have to be afraid of Chelsea, of their quality. They have their quality, yes, but we have our quality too, and they have their weaknesses and their problems, and I think that defense might be a problem with our attacking line and a defense with Lawrence, Buchanan, Carter, Liam Charles. As a Chelsea fan, I wouldn't be convinced that these players will be able to keep the Arsenal attacking line quiet. So this is our chance, and why not scoring 2 or 3 goals? And as I said, if we score 3 goals, we will win. So this is my big hope. Yeah, would be fantastic if Mido or with Miedema score in stoppage time the winning goal.
That would be good.
Can you imagine Viv coming on at 75 minutes or so and then scoring the decisive goal in maybe 88th or 90th minute, and this in at the Emirates with 60,000 backing her? This would be just fantastic. Yeah, let's dream.
That's the dream, isn't it? Really, that would be the dream. Terry's gone Arsenal in response to that question. Yeah, I don't disagree. Terry says Arsenal have the better team and squad. Chelsea have the refs back in. Well, they do seem to sometimes, don't they? Greg says totally agree. Yeah, I mean, I think Sunday's going to tell us a lot more about who's got the better team at the moment. If obviously if we win the game, then obviously that's the end of that argument, isn't it? Obviously us. And whoever wins the league at the end of the season has probably got the better squad, because you've got to deal with injuries, you've got to deal with all the number of games, all the different competitions and whatever. And the best group of players wins the league. You can win the battle, but can you win the war? I'm hoping we can win both. But to do that, to have any chance of doing that, we have to win the battle on Sunday first. And if we do that, I think that shows that maybe, I mean, it's difficult to say, isn't it? In a one-off game, any 11 players could potentially beat another 11 players. Does that mean they're a better team? They were the better team on the day, and hopefully we will be on Sunday. I think it's difficult to know. Chelsea have won all the trophies in recent years, or most of them. So you've got to say they've been the better team. They've been the better squad. But we have improved in all aspects of our squad's improved, our team's improved. And have they improved as much? I think we're definitely closing that gap. And we'll see on Sunday how much more there is to close. And obviously by the end of the season, we'll know exactly where we are. If we've won the league, we finished above Chelsea, then we'll know that we're better than them now. If we don't, then we'll have to say we've still got some more work to do. And whatever that is, we have to improve in certain aspects to be able to catch them. But at this moment in time, I don't think there's a lot to choose between us and Chelsea in the starting 11 or in squad. I think we've got more depth attacking, definitely more strength in depth attacking. Chelsea maybe haven't needed it because they've got Sam Kerr who scores all their goals, whereas we've now got so many different options that we can bring off the bench as well. And hopefully that will be what makes a difference on Sunday. We'll have to see. But interesting we'll find out a little bit more on Sunday, but we won't have any definitive answers on Sunday, because it's not till you win the trophies. That's the best team wins the league, don't they? The best squad of players wins the league with the best manager. So if Chelsea do it again, we'll have to hold our hands up and say we've still got a little bit to go to catch them. But Sunday's going to give us some idea of where we are currently and where they are currently, and hopefully it will be good news for us and we can go out there and get the 3 points. And suddenly it makes the title race really, really interesting, doesn't it? And bearing in mind as well, if Man City were to win their game, if we've beaten Chelsea, Man City win, they've closed up 3 points on Chelsea. Man United can close up 3 points on Chelsea. Suddenly you've got that top four really, really close together again. Really exciting, isn't it? So everybody else apart from Chelsea fans should want us to win, because the title race close. If Chelsea win, it's almost done. We're not even at Christmas. We don't want to see that, do we? We want it to be nice, tight, good title race. So let's see. We can only do our bit. Win the game on Sunday, and let's see where we are. But yeah, it's going to be so exciting. I've not been looking forward to a game as much as this for a very long time, actually, in the context of the season, and knowing that I think there's it's been spoken about before about a power shift. I do feel as though there is a power shift happening, and that Chelsea have had it all their own way for too long. But I think we're ready to take over now, and Sunday's going to prove that, hopefully, that we are when we go on and win the game. That's the dream, isn't it? But let's see. It's going to be tough. We know it's going to be tough. Terry says, let's be honest, the ref got the draw for Chelsea against City. Oh, absolutely, yeah. I mean, I remember we was watching that game, and obviously Man City were down to 9 players. And I was saying, when they had all the injury time, I was saying they're going to play until Chelsea score. They won't finish this game until Chelsea have scored. And they didn't. They kept on playing, and then Chelsea scored, and then they finished the game. But yeah, you did get that feeling in that particular game, didn't you? Gunnar Dad says Christmas is red. Well,
hopefully.
Yeah, it's got to be Arsenal's day, hasn't it? Because it's Christmas nearly. So yeah, let's hope all that's right. But it is. I think the most important thing for Sunday is it's going to be a great advert for women's football. Big crowd, virtually sold out crowd at the Emirates. 60,000 people or thereabouts. 2 of the best teams in world football, women's football. going head to head. Neither team's going to want to give an inch, or it's going to be such a competitive game. Hopefully there'll be a few goals that we can all enjoy, and hopefully Arsenal will win. But women's football hopefully is going to be the winner on Sunday more than anything. It's because it's going to be such a big advert for the growth that we've seen, in terms of the crowd and everything else. So it is going to be something special. I'm sure you're looking forward to it. What stand are you in, Andreas, on Sunday?
I'm at club level as always.
Oh, club level. Okay, wow, fantastic.
Yeah,
so
I've the season ticket for club level because it's more leg room for me, and so yeah, I'm enjoying it there. And yeah, I will make a match day vlog again with the atmosphere, so you can see from my place. It's yeah, at the middle line, so it's really good view, and looking forward to it.
No, it's going to be great. But anyway, so if you're in club level and you see Andreas, say hello. I'm sure he'll be pleased to see you. And that'll be good. Or so that's gonna. It's just going to be a great occasion, isn't it? So everyone's going to enjoy it, I'm sure, and it's going to be a very, very good game. So that's it. And the weekend can officially start. We're a little bit later, obviously. We're a little bit later starting today because we wanted to get Andreas on the show because we knew he was travelling across the pond to come over to London for the game. So it's good to see you. Obviously, you've had a good journey. You're glad to be on the show.
Yeah, of course. I enjoyed to be in the show, and I was really looking forward to it. And yeah, I was a bit concerned when my flight was delayed. I said, "Oh no, it will be difficult." But yeah, it's great to be in the show and discuss all this. And I think we are all excited for Sunday more than ever, more than for normal matches. It's not a normal match, so. Yeah, I really wanted to be in the show and discuss this, and I want to be in the stadium and have this atmosphere. Can't wait for the match, and it's so exciting.
It is so exciting. Yeah, we're really looking forward to it. It's going to be great, and we'll look forward to the vlog as well to get some of the atmosphere from the stadium, and hopefully before the game and in the pub and stuff like that. If you're going in the toilet, and again, I'm sure it'll be busy in there as always. Morpher says there, thank you guys, great show. And thank you very much, my friend, for watching. Don't forget to give us a like as well before you go, everybody else as well. Thanks to Amar as well for his videos in India, all the way in India. He's coming back on Sunday. He's had a week or so away in India, so I'm sure he's had a great time in the great weather there. I'm sure he's been really having some fun over there, and he'll be back on the show next Friday anyway, so we can catch up with him and find out how it went in India. So obviously thanks to Amar for sending the videos in, and thanks to Andreas for being here. I'll be back, of course, tomorrow. It is the Arsenal men playing a big game again. What a big game that is, away at Aston Villa. Wow, that is going to be exciting, isn't it? So that's not to be missed as well. It's 5:30 kickoff, so I'll be here live at 5:15 for that one. So join me for that because that's going to be good. But is it going to be better than Sunday's game? Probably not, but it might be up there with it. It's not going to be much to choose, is it? They're both going to be great games this weekend. It's a brilliant weekend to be an Arsenal fan, isn't it, for these two massive games? And hopefully, if Arsenal can win them both, what a weekend it'll be. Wow, that'll be... Christmas will come early, won't it? If Arsenal can get 6 points in this weekend on Saturday and Sunday, Christmas will definitely come early. So we definitely look forward to a great weekend. Terry says, "Wish you a great show again. And what can you say about Andreas other than what a top guy?" Remember, everyone in the chat, hit that thumbs up button before you go. Indeed, yeah, hit the thumbs up button. Morpheus says, "I'm fuming for Arteta's yellow card last game." You see, I'm not, and I'll tell you why. Because last time he wasn't on the bench, we played some brilliant football against Man City. Do you remember on New Year's Day when he had COVID or something? And we were brilliant that day. So I'm kind of thinking that him not being on the bench might be an advantage in a way. He's up in the stand, so he can be involved in the pre-season, the pre-game stuff. He can do everything else. Just watching the game up there, rather than him. I think sometimes there's too much pressure on the team when he's on the touchline, waving his arms about and shouting and stuff. It might help us relax and maybe play. I don't know. I've got a feeling it might be an advantage in a way. So I'm actually not too bothered. I was quite pleased when he got that, thinking, good, this might actually help us on Saturday. It's going to be a really tough game. Villa are a brilliant side at home. We saw the other night they ripped Man City to pieces, absolutely ripped them to pieces. And if they play like that against us, it's going to be tough. But I think we'll be ready for them. We will be ready for them. Wolfer says we were robbed on Gabby red card v City. Yeah, we were. Yeah, we played really well, didn't we? And then they got a dodgy goal at the end as well, didn't they? But yeah, it was just one of them. But we played well, and that's what I'm saying. And hopefully we can play well again on Saturday. But tomorrow we'll see. But it's going to be a great game. Terry says, "I agree. I'll set around." Well, maybe just stick him up in the stand every game. Maybe that's the way. We'll see. If we play well tomorrow, beat Aston Villa 4-0, then we'd have to say, Arteta, you stay up there, mate, every single game. Sit up with Andreas in club level every game at the Emirates. Next to Andreas, and that'll keep you out of trouble. But yeah, we'll see what happens tomorrow. But yeah, it's 2 fantastic games of football this weekend, isn't it? It's just brilliant. You know, what a weekend it's going to be. It's so exciting, isn't it? It's going to be great. But we'll see anyway. Let's wait and see what happens first. We could end up on one Sunday evening really crying with disappointment because we've lost both games. But let's hope not. Let's hope not. Greg said it's going to be a good weekend, a good night tomorrow. Yeah, and yourself, mate. Yeah, we'll hopefully see you tomorrow. If you're around tomorrow, 5:15, I'll be here for that Aston Villa game. Wow. And then, of course, Sunday, 12:15 for the big game at the Emirates, Arsenal women against Chelsea. Wow, what an exciting weekend we've got coming up. Wolfers says, I like that. It souls Arteta out from. Indeed, yeah, exactly. It does. Just get him up in the stand. That's it. He just needs to be away from the dugout. Let the players play and relax and get on with it. That's what you need to do. Anyway, right. So thanks for watching. I say the weekend's here. The Arsenal Women's Show has finished. We will see you tomorrow for the Arsenal match. Enjoy it. Thanks to Andreas, of course, as always. Thanks to Amar for his contributions all the way from India. That's probably the furthest away someone's been on the show that's not been on the show. Do you know what I mean? In India, you know, Andreas is normally in Germany, which is fine, but India's a bit further away. So Amar's beating the record tonight. He's got the furthest. He's been the furthest away. Terry says, "How can you wish Arteta on Andreas?" Well, you might be able to talk some sense into him. That's why. Andreas needs to speak to Arteta, and I'm sure everything will be fine. And after that, he needs to spend 90 minutes sitting with Andreas, and we'll be fine. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I will see you tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your Friday night, and of course, enjoy your weekend tomorrow. I'll see you at 5:15, and Andreas will see you Sunday, hopefully at the Emirates. So say hello to Andreas if you do. I will see you later. Come on, you Gunners. Enjoy it and enjoy your Friday night. Ta-ra, guys. See you later.
Yeah. Bye.